The following is a transcript of an interview performed by investigative journalist Stanley Whitfield, never released to the public. The contents of the interview were recently released to the press after Whitfield's passing. The journalist seemingly had a mass email sent out from multiple sources, many of them burner emails set up by multiple individuals contacted by the journalist. Whitfield's interview was unusual in nature because it was a rare look into the mind of Maxima, the fourth member of Magical Melody. Less public than Aria, Maxima did not participate in publicity stunts as Aria did, though she is featured on a handful of collector's items that were sold under the brand name for the superhero team. The interview is significant due to its contents, and it was done only days before the primate's passing due to injuries sustained in the line of duty. Stanley, so how are you? Are you comfortable? Do you need some water or? Maxima, bananas? Stanley, I didn't want to be offensive. Maxima, it must be uncomfortable for you to be faced with someone like me. Stanley, well, you're the first talking non-human I've met. Maxima, those are becoming more common these days. Stanley, yeah, well, this is a first for me, so I apologize if I accidentally say something rude. Maxima, no apology needed, you're helping me out by hearing my story. Stanley, yes, well, I was surprised you contacted me. Are things as really bad as you said? Maxima, Stanley, they're having those girls fight monsters. Open your eyes. As an adult, can you seriously be comfortable with that? Stanley, Maxima, don't blame yourself too harshly. Vivace and her goons have done well in their propaganda machine to normalize this insanity. Our girls are fighting the good fight. Look at our girls go. Let's cheer on our girls. The language there allows to spread the blame, even though Vivace is the one who came up with the idea and the government is the one who funded it. Stanley, they're making you do the same. Why are you so concerned with those girls? Maxima, because I'm a mother and they're children. What mother in her right mind would sit there and watch this happen? Especially to sweet little girls like that? Children shouldn't be used as soldiers. Stanley, but that's different. They're superheroes, not soldiers. Maxima, they're children being forced to fight. Maxima, how is that different than warlords putting weapons into the hands of child soldiers? Ask yourself, would you let your child be out there fighting 60-foot monsters? Stanley, Dr. Vivace has her girl out there. Maxima, Vivace is insane. Maxima. And I'm a monster of her own creation. Maxima, Vivace loves the attention of the media. She likens herself as some sort of martyr, but at the same time, no matter what Cadence does, it's never good enough. Listen to how she talks about her own daughter. It's different than how she talks about Harmony or Aria or even me. Vivace values obedience above all else. Maxima, Harmony is terrified she won't be able to support her family and Aria doesn't know any better. Stanley, her family? Harmony has a family? I thought she'd be like Cadence and be related to Vivace. Maxima, Harmony is the daughter of a low-ranking soldier who's working to feed her large family. Vivace often withholds her pay if she finds that Harmony's work hasn't been up to standard. Both Cadence and Harmony are often held to the impossible standard that Aria manages to achieve. Stanley, well, they both should try to be stronger. Maxima, it's easy to meet the standard when you were raised to be a living weapon. Stanley, I'm sorry, what? Maxima, I've personally seen Aria make a city into a glass floor. Most of the time it's necessary for some of the missions we've been on. Stanley, missions? Maxima, I can't say more if you want both you and your family to live. Stanley. I told you that when I contacted you. Stanley, right. Stanley, so, what do you want me to do? Maxima, I want you to tell people of how these girls are being treated. If Vivace has the spotlight on her, she can't keep doing her deeds in the dark. Maxima, all three of them are overworked. Cadence is trying to get her mother's approval. Harmony is trying to feed her family and Aria thinks this is normal. I've tried everything I could think of to help those girls, but they're being consistently failed by every adult in their lives. Stanley, that sounds terrible. Maxima, that's not the worst part. Stanley, what's that? Maxima, Vivace tracks all 3 of the girls. She even tracks me, or at least she did until I broke the sensor. Stanley, what are you doing? Maxima, this collar on our uniforms are tracking collars. They're incredibly difficult to take off and extremely painful to remove by yourself. Cadence and Aria have their own collars, but Harmony just has a tracking chip. Vivace let her parents think she skipped the collar due to their request. But she still has one, it just can't be seen. Stanley, this is something you'd put on livestock. Maxima, exactly. Now think about it. If she's doing this, what else is she doing to those 3 little girls?